Hey everyone, welcome back to the infographics. I'm Emma Chamberlain, and I'm glad you're here. Let's take a second. Think about your favorite video game, the one you keep coming back to, maybe for comfort, maybe to get creative, or just because you need to unplug for a while. Now, picture this. After all those hours you've sunk in, after more than a decade, the people behind that game announce you'll never see a sequel. Not because they can't, but because the current game makes them too much money to ever let it go. And then, on top of that, you realize you've spent over $1,000 on just that one game, almost without noticing. This isn't some wild what if. This is real life for more than 85 million fans of The Sims 4. Today, we're diving into maybe the strangest and smartest move in gaming, how Electronic Arts basically killed The Sims 5 before it ever existed. And why. This is how a simple hobby turned into a billion-dollar mind game. It's the story of a beloved franchise that decided to cash in on the present instead of building a future. And honestly, the game you're playing right now, it might be the last classic Sims game you ever get. Let's roll back to the start, because none of this makes sense without the beginning. Way back in 2000, a designer named Will Wright dropped something truly weird and new: The Sims. No bosses, no final level, no real way to win. You just made people, built their houses, and watched them live out their weird little lives. It was simple, but somehow totally addictive. Players could make their own perfect families or absolute chaos. You could build a mansion or a shack, make your Sims fall in love, or trap them in a pool with no ladder to see what happened. The game didn't judge you. It just let you play God. People went wild for it. By 2002, The Sims had sold more copies than any PC game before it, knocking Must off the throne. It wasn't just a hit game, it was a full-blown cultural moment. People who'd never gamed before were buying PCs just to try it. Grandmas made digital families. Teenagers created their own soap operas. It didn't matter who you were, the game hooked you. Not because you could win, but because you could just live. For the next 14 years, The Sims kept leveling up. The Sims 2 came out in 2004, and suddenly, your Sims could have kids that actually looked like their parents and get old. The Sims 3 landed in 2009, and for the first time, your Sims could walk all over town without hitting a loading screen. Then, in 2014, The Sims 4 arrived. This is where things started to get weird. The Sims 4 launched, and right away, people felt a little mixed. Critics loved the new emotion system, making Sims react more like real people. But longtime fans noticed a bunch of stuff missing. No pools, no toddlers, and the open world from Sims 3 was gone. Instead, you just got these small little neighborhoods. A lot of fans felt like it was a step back, but EA had something else in mind. They decided to play the long game. What happened next didn't just change The Sims, it changed the whole industry. The Sims 4 didn't just get better with updates. It grew into something much bigger and way more profitable than any sequel could ever be. Let's get into the numbers, because that's where the truth really hits. In the first quarter of 2026, EA pulled in $1.92 billion. Yeah, that's billion with a B. That's up 15% from the year before, and in their earnings call, they straight up credited the Sims series as a big part of that boost. Not a new game, not some giant sequel, just this one game released 12 years ago, still raking it in. So, how did they pull this off? 2 words: downloadable content. But not just regular old DLC. The Sims 4 turned this into an art form, one other live service games can only dream about. Let's look at what they've actually sold, because it's kind of wild. Since 2014, The Sims 4 has dropped 20 big expansion packs. These aren't just add-ons, they actually change how the whole game works. Get to Work lets you follow your Sims to their jobs. Seasons brings in weather and holidays. Cats and Dogs, well, you can guess. Each of these will run you $30 to $40, and that's just the start. On top of expansions, The Sims 4 has 12 game packs. These are smaller, usually about $20, and each one adds a new theme. Vampires, werewolves, jungle adventures, even a weird but oddly popular Star Wars crossover. Now let's talk about stuff packs. There are 18 of them, $10 each, and they mostly give you a themed bundle of furniture or clothes. Maybe you want vintage glamour, or a laundry day vibe, or that tiny living feel. There's a pack for that. Then you've got the kits. These are the latest way to buy more for your game. Kits go for $5 and usually just add a handful of specific items. Industrial loft? Sure. Blooming rooms? Yep. Fashion Street? Of course. There are over 20 kits now. Add it all up. If you buy every single thing for The Sims 4 at full price, you're dropping well over $1,000. Depending on your region and taxes, you can easily cross $1,500. But here's the wild part. You never actually feel like you've spent that much. You're not paying it all at once. $40 here for an expansion, $20 there for a game pack, $10 when you need that new kitchen set, $5 for some cool streetwear. It's just a slow drip over the years, quiet, steady, relentless. No other entertainment company has pulled off a more patient money drain. Now stack that against a regular subscription. $15 a month turns into $180 a year. Over a decade, that's $1,800. Sims fans often end up in the same ballpark, but there's no monthly reminder hitting their bank account. Just a bigger, shinier library of stuff, and a wallet that keeps getting lighter. The profit margins? Honestly, they're outrageous. Building an expansion might run EA $10 million. A game pack? Maybe $3 million. Stuff packs and kits are even cheaper. Compare that to making a big, traditional sequel. Those cost over $100 million and take years. Why gamble on that when you can keep pumping out small, high-margin content and watch the cash roll in? EA saw the math. The answer was obvious. Why risk it? But the real magic isn't just in the money EA makes. It's in the money you've already spent. When you've dropped hundreds or even thousands of dollars into The Sims 4, you're locked in, deep. Emotionally, psychologically, financially. Think about it if you're a hardcore player. You've got weather, pets, vampires, werewolves, dozens of cities and neighborhoods, hundreds of furniture sets and outfits, new careers, skills, all sorts of gameplay changes, stuff that makes the game what it is for you. Now picture a new Sims game, say Sims 5, launching with just the base game. Suddenly, none of your content is there. No seasons, no pets, nothing you're used to, nothing you paid for. The game feels empty, like a stripped-down demo. And you'd have to wait years as EA slowly brings back all that stuff, selling it to you again. Most people look at that and think, no thanks. EA knows it. The real cost of switching isn't just the $60 for a new game. It's walking away from everything you've already bought. That's not loyalty, that's lock-in. And for a company, that's gold. So in 2022, when EA teased Project Renee, everyone figured, here it is, Sims 5. The teasers showed off modular furniture, hinted at multiplayer, felt like a leap forward. Fans got hyped. Then, nothing. Silence. Years of it. No release date, no beta, just a bit of concept art and some vague statements. Finally, in early 2026, EA broke the silence. But it wasn't the news fans expected. Project Renee isn't Sims 5. It never was. It's a separate, multiplayer spin-off meant to sit next to The Sims 4, not replace it. Free to play, probably starting on mobile, with microtransactions and cosmetic add-ons. At the same time, EA started talking about the next evolution of single-player Sims for PC and console. They're keeping details fuzzy, but they did say that over half their global team is now working on The Sims 4 and this new evolution. They refuse to call it a sequel. It's not Sims 5. It's just the next evolution. So what does all that actually mean? Well, people who know the industry have a few ideas. The most likely, EA will eventually roll out a big engine update for The Sims 4. Picture the same game you know, same DLC and everything, but rebuilt on newer tech. Sharper graphics, better performance, smoother gameplay, without making everyone toss out years of purchases. It's the same trick Destiny 2 pulled when it merged back into Destiny, or how Fortnite has just kept upgrading its engine over time. There's another angle too: platform integration. EA's been pouring money into AI, and in late 2024, they dropped the first AI tools for the Sims Hub. Now, players can use generative AI to whip up custom objects, or even turn real photos into Sim faces. People have mixed feelings about it. Some love the creativity, others are angry about artists' work getting used without pay. But EA's not backing down. This is where they're headed. And then there's multiplayer. With Project Renee, EA's about to test online Sims gameplay. If it works, those features are going to trickle into the main series. If it flops, don't be surprised if EA just quietly moves on and pretends it never happened. But let's zoom out for a second, because here's the big thing every Sims player needs to think about, no matter how much money you've spent. For the first time in over 20 years, The Sims actually has competition. Real competition. And that changes everything. Let's meet the newcomers. First up, Inzoi. Krafton, the studio behind PUBG, is pushing for photorealism like The Sims never has. The characters look like real people. The neighborhoods look like photos. If you've ever wished your life sim felt more like a movie than a cartoon, this is your game. Early trailers have people hyped, and it's expected out within a year. Next, there's Paralives. This one's a passion project, funded by a dedicated community over years. Paralives is for the builders, the folks who spend hours crafting the perfect house. Deep, intuitive building tools, no endless DLC shopping just to finish a room. It's warm, it's welcoming, and it's exactly the thing Sims fans have been asking for. Then you've got Life by You, from Paradox Interactive. Their goal? Total player freedom, with deep modding and a wide open world. Basically, it's everything Sims fans have wanted for ages, just built on a modern engine with modern ideas. And it's not just direct competition. Games like Stardew Valley have shown that millions of people just want a cozy life sim, regardless of the brand. Animal Crossing exploded during the pandemic by offering exactly that. Even Minecraft and Roblox have life sim features that pull people away from The Sims now and then. So what's the bottom line? EA's monopoly is over. For 2 decades, if you wanted a life sim, you bought The Sims. That's not true anymore. Now, players have choices. And choices mean power. Suddenly, EA actually has to earn your attention. That's probably why they're treading so carefully with Project Renee and the future of The Sims. One bad decision, and players finally have a reason to try something else. But here's the uncomfortable reality EA is banking on. Switching is tough. Let's be honest, walking away from a $1,000 Sims investment isn't easy. The new games, they're untested, their communities are smaller, their content libraries are thin. Maybe they won't have that special spark that keeps you coming back to The Sims. So EA's betting you'll stick around. They're counting on the comfort of the familiar and the sting of leaving your DLC behind to keep you buying those $5 kits and $20 packs. Starting over is a big ask. And honestly, for most players, they're probably right. But there's a deeper question here, bigger than just The Sims. What happens when sequels disappear? What are we left with if every hit game just becomes a forever game, endlessly patched, updated, and monetized, never finished, never replaced? You can see it everywhere now. Grand Theft Auto 5 came out in 2013, and it's still getting updates, still making money, still holding back GTA 6. World of Warcraft? Released in 2004, still alive, still asking for subscriptions, still rolling out new expansions. And Fortnite? Well, it's barely even a game anymore. It's a whole platform, hosting concerts, movie nights, and brand tie-ins inside its ever-changing world. Games used to have a shelf life. You'd launch a game, sell it for a few years, then drop a sequel to hook the next wave of players and take advantage of new tech. That only worked because games had an endpoint. They weren't built to last forever, and they definitely weren't built to keep making money year after year. That's all flipped. Now, games are designed to go on forever. They're built around live services, seasonal drops, battle passes, and microtransactions. They're not just games anymore, they're ecosystems. And ecosystems don't get sequels, they just keep growing. Take The Sims 4. It started out in 2014 as a regular game. 10 years later, it's more like a platform. Actually, it's an ecosystem now, too big and too profitable to ever really end. The Sims 5 isn't coming because The Sims 4 never stopped. It just kept chugging along. But here's the weird part. By becoming endless, The Sims lost something. There's a kind of magic that comes with a fresh sequel, a blank slate, that thrill of exploring something totally new. When a game never ends, you lose out on that feeling. You just get more stuff. Not better graphics, not new ideas, just more ways to decorate, more things to collect. The bones of the game are still stuck in 2014, even as everything else changes. New players who started with The Sims 4 won't ever know what it felt like to dive into a brand new Sims game, to figure out unfamiliar mechanics, to build everything up from scratch. They just know what it's like to keep stacking DLC, piling one thing on top of another until the game starts to groan under the weight. And maybe that's fine. For a lot of people, collecting is its own kind of fun. Familiarity can feel better than chasing the next big thing. For millions of players, that's clearly true. But if you remember the buzz of a sequel launch, waiting in line at midnight, cracking open that box, installing the first expansion, it's hard not to feel a little sad about what's gone. It's not just a missing game, it's a missing feeling. So what's next? According to EA, The Sims is only going to keep growing. Project Renee is coming soon, focused on mobile and multiplayer first. The Sims 4 will keep getting new packs, probably forever. That mysterious next evolution of single-player Sims? Don't expect a true sequel. Think major update instead. Meanwhile, the competition is waking up. Inzoi is aiming for 2026. Paralives wants to launch in early 2027. Life by You is already out in early access. For the first time in ages, players have real alternatives, and that could finally push EA to do something new. Or not. EA exists to make money for shareholders. If the current model keeps working, why mess with it? Right now, it's working better than ever. EA's 2026 Q1 earnings call spelled it out. The Sims franchise is still beating expectations. Engagement is strong. Recent DLC is selling well. There are exciting new initiatives ahead. No mention of The Sims 5, and there never will be. The Sims 5 is a ghost, something that might have existed but disappeared once the numbers said it wasn't needed. That's the real story. In today's gaming industry, numbers call the shots, not art. Creativity doesn't decide what gets made. Profitability does. The Sims 5 isn't missing because it would be a bad game. It's missing because it would be a bad business move. And for a public company, that's the only thing that's truly unacceptable. So here we are in 2026, still playing a game from 2014, paying for content that drops right on schedule, waiting for a sequel that's never coming. And the strange thing is, most of us are okay with it. We've accepted the forever game. We know our hobby is also a money machine, built to squeeze value over years. We've stopped asking for something new and started settling in with something that just keeps going. Is that progress? Or is it loss? Honestly, I'm not sure. But here's what I do know. The Sims 4 isn't going anywhere. It's outlasted all those would-be replacements, and it's not slowing down. New consoles will come and go, trends will fade, but The Sims 4 just keeps chugging along, updating, charging, hanging around even after its rivals shut down and disappear. That's what these forever games do. They stick around. And you know, maybe that's exactly how it should be for a series all about life. Life doesn't get a sequel. It just keeps rolling forward, picking up new moments, shifting a little at a time, and never really ending. In its own weird way, The Sims 4 isn't just simulating living, it's turned into a simulation of life itself. Messy, pricey, and you can't just swap it out for something new. Thanks for joining me for this deep dive on the infographics. If you liked the video, hit that like button. It genuinely helps out, and it tells us you want more stuff like this. Don't forget to subscribe and tap the notification bell so you don't miss anything. We've got some really cool episodes coming up. More dives into gaming economics, the real price of free-to-play, and what AI means for the future of entertainment. I want to hear from you too. Did you drop $1,000 on Sims 4 DLC? Are you curious about competitors like Inzoi or Paralives? Or do you feel right at home in The Sims 4 forever? Tell me in the comments. I read every one, and your feedback actually shapes our content. And hey, if you've got a friend with a ridiculous number of Sims expansion packs, send this video their way. Maybe it'll spark a good conversation about whether they're cool with the forever game idea, or ready to try something new. That's it for today. I'm Emma Chamberlain, and this is the infographics. Stay curious, question everything, and keep wondering why the things you love work the way they do. See you next time.